Hunting in Spain has always been a big part of the culture, and to this day is practiced by almost 1 million of its inhabitants. The hunting industry contributes 6.4 billion euro to the economy each year. The ibex is one of the most iconic species to hunt, with 4 subspecies native to Spain. Their pursuit has been a cornerstone of Spanish culture for centuries. I'm traveling to Spain for a hunting trip with my family to pursue this hard-to-reach species in its natural habitat, while immersing ourselves in the culture. Hunting has become a controversial practice in modern times. My name is Dan Cabela, and I'm traveling the globe to explore the true impact that hunting is having on our remaining wild landscapes. This practice goes as far back as human history can remember, but does it have a place in modern conservation?
We finally made it to Spain. We're in a little village. This place looks like a miniature castle. It's beautiful.
My parents first traveled to Spain in 1987 on a hunting trip, and it's a place I've always wanted to visit with my family. Hunters' dollars play a vital role in the conservation of species like the ibex, and I am looking forward to learning exactly how. There is a healthy ibex population in Spain today, but that wasn't always the case. In the 1920s, King Alfonso XIII created the first ever national preserve in Gredos, precisely to conserve the Gredos ibex, one of the 4 subspecies occurring in Spain, which was close to extinction at the time. The hunting law was introduced in the 1970s to regulate the hunting season and limit the number of tags issued each year.
There's no free hunting. Everybody that wants to hunt here, it's done through the auctions, and everybody, if you want to buy one, you go to the auction like we do and then buy the tags. So all of that money is pulled into the National Preserve.
The local Society of Hunters is doing a lot to protect wildlife and natural habitat for all the species that occur in the region. They have built and maintained water holes that are utilized by all the local fauna. They also plant food plots and do road maintenance with funds generated from hunting. Each hunter visiting the country brings in tens of thousands of dollars of revenue.
The town owns the property of the land and the property of the ibexes, and the town gives them those permits to be sold, and that money goes back to them to build this or build the water for the partridges or the salt or the grain. They make the roads, plow to plant, all of those things.
And that's all funded through hunting?
Yeah, exactly.
Todos los años se gasta el dinero que se recibe de los machos en mejoras.
Every year, the money of every year's money has to go into the conservation of the ibex, every year. He says in years of drought, because this area has quite a bit of drought, 80 to 90% of the money that is received from the ibex has to go to water and food for all the game. And if the populations are healthier of ibex or no partridges, they give them a higher number of permits because they do a census every year. So if those populations are healthier, there's more animals and they will get more permits in the future. So they work for more conservation, more animals, more hunting, and going. It's like a circle.
I'm traveling to the Gredos mountain range to hunt the first of the 4 ibex we will hunt in Spain, the Gredos ibex. I think it's very meaningful to hunt an animal that is difficult to get to and hunt them in their environment, and to be able to put yourself to the test to actually accomplish this type of hunt means a lot. Hunting ibex is kind of an all-day affair. You spend hours glassing trying to find a mature old billy ibex. And then once you actually spot a mature ibex billy, it's usually not a short distance. There's usually a good bit of elevation. Typically, it takes anywhere from 1 to 4 to 5 hours to spot and stalk a mature billy ibex.
We've seen several ibex this morning, lots of females, quite a few males. We did see a very nice male that they aged at 12. We passed on him because we're looking for something a little bit older, but things look promising. There's a lot of movement and activity out here.
Great effort is put into only taking the very old males that have already passed on their genetics and are past their breeding prime.
This is in my opinion, is the best tool. Shoot the oldest. What we're looking for is 15, 14, 16 even. something that is already suffering, maybe less teeth or the teeth are not very good. He cannot eat. He can get not strong enough to go in the rut, not strong to go running around. So it's just to shoot the oldest. In my opinion, is the best conservation tool for the species.
After 2 full days of searching, we were given our first real opportunity at an old Billy Ibex.
He's right there,
Low.
right there.
What an incredible morning. We worked hard, did some hiking, struck out early, and then we came over to another area, and you guys picked up this old Billy standing on this ledge over here and took a long shot across the canyon, and here we go. We've got an old mature Ibex here. Can you give us an idea of how you guys from that distance can judge the age of an Ibex, whether it's mature or not?
Yeah, when we saw it over there, one of the main things is the markings, the black of the animals. The old mature animals are normally really, really black, like this one. And also the shape of the horns, you see how they are pointing up. It's already finishing the turn, how it sweeps up. And then you can start counting the rings of the age, because this is when they are rotting. They stop eating completely. So you can really see, when they are rotting and there's no eating, so you can count the years very clearly.
Thanks again, Juan, for an incredible experience this morning.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Meticulous records are taken by the gamekeepers after the harvest to document general health and age to better manage the species. As is true across much of the world, human impact has had a serious effect on wildlife through the spread of disease. In Spain, there are ibex that have picked up mange from domestic goats, as well as entire herds that have been infected with scabies. This is taking a massive toll on their population, but the local Society of Hunters has been working on a solution by deploying ivermectin treatment at the salt licks. They have been seeing some success.
We're using a natural salt lick that has been used forever, and we're gonna put some more salt and then the ivermectin for the scabies. It's a huge problem in this area, and they're putting salt and a lot of feed with the ivermectin in it, so they cure themselves. We can get the ivermectin in blocks like that, and we have to grind it and then mix it with also rock salt, not just blocks of salt. All this is salt, coming from the rock. You can see the shape of the mouth. That's why we use this place to put the food and the salt for them, because they're used to come here, for centuries. You can see here, also.
Yeah.
There's a big population here, or it was really healthy population, but the ibex are very gregarious animals. They are always in bunches, so it's very easy to pass the disease from one ibex to the next, because they are together all the time.
What does the scabies do to the ibex? What's the impact on the animal?
So the scabies is a parasite that goes underneath your skin and makes like caves in your skin. So your skin starts dying, and as the parasite continues to grow in your skin, all your skin dies and you get infections. That's why they die. They don't die because of the scabies itself. It's because the infections, without the barrier of the skin, a lot of things go into the body of the ibex, and then you die of those infections. Y esto lo pagáis todos los cazadores, ¿no?
Evidente, sí.
And it's all paid by the hunters only. Not the government. Right now is not helping at all. Only the hunters.
Why is it important for the hunters and the village to support, a program like this to try and keep the ibex healthy?
Y evidentemente pues, lo que se pretende es que sigan estos ingresos y estos recursos se sigan aprovechando.
It says that for many villages, as you've been seeing, There might be 5, 6, 10 neighbors in the village. So probably the number one source of income from the village, it's hunting, it's the permits from the ibex. So what between the villagers and the hunters, what they're trying to do is to maintain as big a population as possible to continue hunting, so they can use that money in the town to make, maybe roads or whatever they need in the town.
Hunting in Spain accounts for 0.3% of GDP, as well as the creation of 186,000 jobs each year, both directly and indirectly. Our next stop takes us to the Malaga province in search of the Ronda ibex. Although the smallest in stature of the subspecies occurring in Spain, the terrain they are found in makes for an incredibly challenging hunt.
It's early morning. We've arrived at the area for the Ronda ibex, just getting our tags in order, and it's pretty brisk, beautiful morning. Be getting started here shortly, and I'm looking forward to another great day in Spain.
We are on the hunt for an old Ronda ibex, and it's proving to be quite the challenge.
So we did a really good stalk. We got 80 yards from the ibex. We were expecting the big one to be with the other ones. They were eating acorns right below us, and one of them came really close, like 30 yards, I think, to see where we were. But no luck. The ibex 1, hunting team 0. We'll keep on chasing them.
It's been kind of a lengthy first morning hunting the Ronda ibex out here. We just took a break for lunch. They had some ibex that we cooked up here. I've never had ibex before. It was quite good, and I think we're refreshed, and we're going to get back after it.
Often after you spot an ibex that looks to be mature, there will be some hiking involved, and you'll have to cover some terrain, and you have to do it in a manner to where they don't wind you or see you. So it can get difficult at times approaching the ibex depending on where they're at, and you just kind of grind it out until you get within shooting range and make a successful stop.
Well, it's been a pretty eventful day. Took a very long shot, actually the longest shot I've ever taken. Very rocky, kind of terrible place, actually. but we did manage to get him, and he's a heck of a trophy, a beautiful old Ronda ibex, and very happy about the results.
After an intense hunt, we took our time to soak in the rich Spanish history in this region.
You go to any small village in Spain, you can find a 16th century church.
To see all the gold that they used in the churches, and it is amazing.
With our batteries recharged, we are heading into the rugged Sierra Nevada mountains to look for the Southeastern Ibex, which is larger and darker than the Ronda, but smaller and lighter in color than the Beceite and Gredos. Each mountain range we traversed was more intense and rocky than the last. It takes a lot of determination and grit to hunt these animals in their natural habitat, and it's one of the most exhilarating hunting experiences I have ever had.
Yeah, so we spent a good bit of the day looking for mature Southeastern billy, and we had seen a couple, but they were just, impossible to get to. And the guy saw one way back on the top where we had come from, so we quickly came back up the mountain, got into position fairly quickly. It was, based on what's happened here so far, a fairly close shot, 180 yards, and we got ourselves a really nice billy. Very nice Southeastern Ibex. Thank you. Congratulations. Great.
You know, the hunting preserves in Spain are very well managed, and there are strict rules put in place. And the quotas are limited. These are high-value animals, so it doesn't take a lot of them to be shot to benefit the entire ecosystem. but I think they do an incredible job at it, and they are very, very, very particular about how the hunting is conducted. Our final destination is Teruel, and we are on our way there to hunt my fourth and final ibex, the Beceite ibex. After some glassing, we spotted one in a valley, so the hiking wasn't as challenging. But this also meant that we needed to be especially mindful of wind direction and noise as not to alert him to our presence.
Beautiful ibex. Congratulations.
The Beceite ibex is the second largest of the four subspecies, both in body and horn size. To have the privilege of harvesting a magnificent animal like this at the end of our trip brings it all home. I am grateful that our dollars will go towards protecting the species and their pristine natural habitat for future generations. Well, Juan, we've had a pretty cool adventure. Really, we're struggling to find a mature Beceite ibex. But just like with a lot of things in hunting, we just kept moving, kept glassing, covering lots of ground, and then all of a sudden, boom, there he was. I couldn't be happier right now. Spain's history is steeped in hunting tradition. There are trophies that have been on these walls longer than I've been alive, and it's this heritage that has helped to protect these species' natural habitat in a modern and developed country. There is nothing more special to me than sharing an animal that I have harvested with my family and friends. It was especially good to share this with my mother, Mary, and our host, Fernando, who has known my parents for many years. If you look back to your younger years when you were here and then you started this hunting company, the wildlife numbers in Spain, specifically maybe even the Gredos ibex and some of those things, we talked about the parks. Where have they gone?
Up. Incredible. I mean, through the protection, through the gamekeepers, everything, the number, incredible. And all the animals.
How is that all paid for?
I will say the hunters. Because when we buy a permit, for me or for you or for anybody, we pay a lot. And that money goes not to the government, central government, but to the local government to protect that area. And it's the only way that the best conservation are the hunters. I mean, how I would like my hunting state. I love to protect him for the next generations. What I am doing, the best of the best for the animals.
Millions of euros are generated each year through the well-managed offtake of the various ibex subspecies, the vast majority of which is going back into the sustainable management of the species. The hunting journey in Spain was an amazing experience for me. It was very fulfilling to see the amount of effort and care for conservation that the locals had in harvesting very old, mature billies and going out of their way and working very hard to make sure that you're only taking the oldest percentage of the population. I had a deep appreciation for that, and if that were applied everywhere on the globe, I think populations would benefit.